this is gonna have to be. Oh, okay, no, we're good. For, for a second, I thought it was 4:47. No, okay, 3:37. Perfect. What kind of gets me is some of my gyms on the weekends, they close at 6. Not ideal. Because, it's not like you don't have all day to go to the gym on the weekend, but, sometimes 5 o'clock just rolls by and you're like, holy shit, I gotta go. No. So, oh yeah. 2 hours ish once I get there. More than enough time to destroy arms. Plus, I'm doing a little bit lower volume now, so the workouts themselves just take a little bit less time. Plan for triceps is I'm definitely going to get some overhead pressing going on. Like, everybody knows the movement where you sit down on a bench, you throw a dumbbell over your head, and you're going back like that. But I don't really love that one. Maybe the reason I think my long head is slacking is because I don't love those. But it's just kind of a weird movement. Something about it with my shoulder. Oh, whatever. But I definitely think that my triceps have some size to be gained, some muscle to be stimulated by getting some overhead stuff going. Because I've got the push downs locked in. Tons of weight, huge pump every time. But, I just think I got to attack tries from a different angle. So I'll kind of jerry rig a little cable setup so I can do some. Really what I need is like just a normal bench seat for a shoulder press. Where it's just like literally like a chair, a padded chair for shoulder press. Because you can butt that up right against a cable stack. And it's such an easy setup. So since they only have normal benches, where once you put them on an incline, the stand kind of like extends this far back. You can't really set it up like that. It takes a little bit more ingenuity. But if you come up with some kind of machine combination or something or whatever, and you think it'll work, try it. I've gotten some pretty solid calf pumps by sitting on a sitting on a lying leg curl backwards, putting the pad on top of my knees, and then doing calf raises. You can use shit in multiple ways and get something out of it. Now, that's not going to imply that you won't look stupid, perhaps, but if it works, it works. So 8 sets of tries of a solid variety. I can foresee push downs, dips, overhead extensions, maybe dumbbell kickbacks. Haven't done those for a while. Tries be pumped. After that, curls is. I think I've got the bicep training down pretty good. I hit a variety of curls, completely pump them up, and they're pretty strong as well. So, I'll. I don't know. Typically, I start with heavy dumbbell curls because that's probably the movement where, well, I'm the strongest. I can go the heaviest, put the most tension on my biceps. Really just get some working reps done. But last arm day, I started off with lighter machine preacher curls. And instead of doing a first set where I'm like just going to absolute failure with as much weight as I can do within like a 10-ish rep range, I just started off with more of a burnout set. Really getting a good squeeze, holding it for just a moment, coming back down slow, stuff like that. I see people do all sorts of different styles of training and they emphasize so many different aspects of it. Everybody knows about all sorts of, again, there's just so many I can't even get into it. It's like I hear FST7 talked about, interval meso sets where, come on, as long as you go hard, you get a pump, and you notice a trend of growth over a certain period of time, and guess what? You're doing something. Now, I'm not trying to tell you not to try to optimize it as your training progresses. Okay? Even I'm trying to do that, man. I'm trying to get my training better. I want to do this as efficiently and effectively as possible. But, I make this analogy all the time. The high school football kid who goes into the gym and just tries to go fucking bananas on biceps, he's probably going to build a bigger set of arms than the kind of dorky kid doing low intensity, even though that kid may be doing his reps perfectly, with perfect form, perfect execution. You know, intensity is going to outweigh effectiveness. But, well, you know what I'm trying to say there. So make sure you have the intensity down and then improve the effectiveness over time, or vice versa. It's each of those things are kind of playing off of each other. But for the most part, you're never going to go wrong going hard on a set. I can say that with 100% belief. So I'm going to warm up my elbows, my shoulders a little bit, and we just jump into the first working set. All right, so instead of starting with something really heavy, just because when I'm fully bulked, ugh, that was gonna burp. When I'm fully bulked, my joints love it. Like it's almost impossible for me to get tender knees unless I squat like upwards of 5 plates for, a legit set. And then same thing for my elbows on pushdowns. But when I'm cutting down, I can definitely tell I'm more prone to like feeling tender. So I think that's kind of why I've been doing more slow and controlled sets as the openers rather than just trying to load up as much weight as possible, just so it feels a little better on my connective tissue, that is. So if your elbows are tender for like a considerable portion of your workout, if not the whole thing on triceps, just spend a while doing some light single arm stuff to warm them up. My if I jump straight into my max weight with like a push down, I could my elbows could be on fire. But if I sit here and warm up for, 5 minutes, then they're good. So don't neglect the warm up. But I think a couple of sets of controlled squeezing reps with the rope should be a perfect opener. Okay. Okay. I was going to do another push down. Let's move on to some dips. Change it up a little. All right, so this set, I think, max weight, squeeze hard at the bottom. Really nothing else to say other than that. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not sure what's next. I'll think about it for a moment. But that felt pretty good. I'm really trying to focus on that lockout at the bottom. So I did a feeler rep sitting on the bench, throwing a dumbbell over my head like this. I don't fucking like it. So I'll get into that overhead stuff soon enough. I mean, right now I'm really just trying to maintain my triceps as they are. But next bulk, mandatory I get at least 3 or 4 overhead sets per tricep lift. But for this one, I'll just do some kind of cross body single arm. Well, it's just each arm's loaded individually. I'm doing both at once. And really, I just try to squeeze pretty freaking hard, What else is there to it? Okay. Okay. Let's just finish with a straight set of a straight bar. Okay. All right. Let's just do some dumbbell curls like I thought I would start with. No point changing up when I know I like. Typically an asshole move, curls in front of the rack. It's not that busy over here, whatever. 80 should be a solid set. Oh, fuck. Oh. Let's drop it down to 75. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh man. Oh god. All right. Form, creative, but I don't know of a single bicep movement I could do which would give me more tension on them than those heavy dumbbell curls. But let's completely change the execution style and go do some machine curls. Okay, whole stack. I swear, they need to make weight stacks cater to the larger lifter. It's an unfortunate situation. But it'll be good enough. This will be maybe 20. I'm aiming for 100 though. All right, let me hit it. One more. So, machines like this or the preacher bench, I like them because you really can't swing the weight up at all, you know? Like, I'm not saying swinging is absolutely awful, but I like a good contrast of my styles of sets. 2 more here. Okay. Yeah. One more will be good. You know, don't be afraid of doing some fucking partials, man. If I ended that set just because I couldn't get all the way up to the top and I can only get like this high, dude, that just doesn't compute in my noggin. All right. I think some easy bar preachers, and that might be the end of it. This is a point I think is worth mentioning, I guess. It's kind of a subjective thing, but I didn't come to this machine and read over my 50-page logbook of the weights and reps that I've done over the last couple of weeks and say, oh, 25 on either side for the preachers will feel good after this many sets of whatever. Like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, if you go back through and you actually like track the data and you do like some legit analytics and plug that shit into like a spreadsheet and find trends and patterns, that's badass. But I mean, I just know for a fact that 97% of you guys with the training notebooks aren't doing that with the data. You know, I mean, it's cool to track it. Like, I'm not saying that it's not good, but you know, I just kind of have like I guess a mental log of the weights and strengths and whatever I am on different machines. You know, I just know that this is going to be a good weight from experience, which I will say kind of makes the process a bit quicker. I don't have to look through something to find the weights that I need to do. I can just jump straight onto it. But let's play some kind of something and hit this set. Okay, one more. Okay. Let's do one set of dumbbells. My thighs are already insanely pumped. Okay, last set. I think just set of the 50s. Nothing fancy. Good squeeze, and we're done. Here we go. Okay. All right. Let's speed over to the pump room and check this shit out. All right. So, buys. I was feeling buys a lot more than I was feeling tries. I swear that overhead stuff is something I'm lacking, and I'm gonna get on it. But it was gonna take forever to set up my little jerry rig method. I need to come up with some better exercise selection. But apart from that, I mean, the tricep pump was still good, and the bicep pump was killer. Honestly, I almost called the workout at 6 sets just because I thought I was done. But I think I'm glad I did those last two. I definitely got something out of it. Or maybe that's just my volume-based mentality talking. You know, more is not always better. Do not get that idea stuck in your head. But let's freaking see what we're working with here. Okay. That's pretty much all there is for arms. I guess side try. What am I talking about? Whew. Damn, with the shoulder striations too? Absolutely brutal. So, arms, like I want them peeking over my front delt. You know, that's why I'm not hitting any front delts, right? What's higher up right now? My bicep or my shoulder, right? The bi is lacking. So that's kind of why I chill out on shoulders. You know, I want them to be, like if you think of this portion of my arm as like kind of being just a round ball, I want it to be the same diameter, if not maybe a little bigger than my shoulders. So since the shoulders aren't small, you know, my arms have some room for development. But apart from just some heavy ass curls and some solid squeezing pushdowns, there's nothing else you can really do for them. So if you think your arms are lacking or any kind of body parts lacking, you know, kind of look at your training reflectively and think, okay, for one thing, have I really even been going hard? A lot of the time that might be the answer. But then let's say you have been, like legit, you just got to change up your style. I saw one guy comment his go-to bicep workout and it was 16 sets. Now, I'm not going to say you're not going to get a solid pump, but I think you could get more out of less. And maybe, I don't want to say just reduce the volume because that sounds like make it easier, you know? That's kind of why I have a little bit of, that's kind of why I have some trouble lowering the volume because it's like, I don't want to make it easier. But you're not just reducing the volume of the workout, you're just concentrating the intensity, right? That's kind of how I like to look at it. But, you know, if you've been doing something that you think might not actually be the best method, or you've been hearing people talk about different rep schemes and whatever, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense to you, you know, try it out for a few weeks, see what happens. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to say, all right, well, I didn't get much bigger doing that. I guess I'll try something else. Or, oh, I'll go back to what I was doing before. And then, I guess, best method, or best case scenario, holy shit, my fucking arms are huge now. You know, you might not, I mean, that, you'd have to be training in a very strange way for that to be the case. But that is, you know, one side of the spectrum. So I'm going to go back up there, do some calves. I'll get a couple of clips, break down my calf training methodology for those curious. Then we can get in the car and we're done. So for me with calves, I mean, end of the lift, I'm really just trying to give them some stimulus, get a pump. You know, I'm not sitting here absolutely annihilating them and destroying them. You know, I know that kind of sounds like a cop-out style of training, but I think they just benefit from daily stimulation, you know? So I'd rather do them like this than just sort of planned out throughout the week. But then again, maybe that would be better, so I don't know. I've got an open mind to calf training, but for now, every time they're not sore, I just throw 8 sets of single leg calf raises at the end of the lift. There we go. And I do single leg because, I mean, I think my calves have like different insertions. Because if I do both at once, I always feel the right one more. So I'll just sit here, do some moderate speed reps, and just get a pump. Okay. Okay. All right. So, honestly, just imagine that 7 more times. I'm not going to record every one. There's just nothing to see. But I swear, if you're not doing calves at all, this is guaranteed a better method of growing them than that. But then again, I guess doing any kind of calves would be. But if you think this is BS and you should just do your like calves on leg day, then do that, man. Whatever you got to do to get big calves. So I'll sit here for another however long this takes, and then we get in the car. All right. No calf check pump. Calf check pump. Calf pump check. And whatever. They honestly don't even get that crazy when they're pumped. In that sense, I think calves are similar to hamstrings and triceps, and maybe even quads a little bit. You know, when they're pumped, obviously they're going to be momentarily bigger, same with any muscle, but they're just going to lose some definition, you know. So in that sense, I never really check my calf pumps too often. Maybe if I'm wearing shorts, I will a little, but you know, how often am I really wearing shorts? How often am I wearing shorts? Rarely. Very freaking rarely. So, what did today's diet consist of? I had, oh my, you gotta, okay, let me put you onto something. You gotta go to Costco and get individually sealed, like, these 5-pound turkey breasts. Pre-cooked. Oh my God, it's just the perfect poultry style of protein, in my opinion. You know, I'd rather have a block of that sitting in the fridge where I can cut off like an 8-ounce. I mean, I almost want to say an 8-ounce steak, basically, just a big block of turkey. Uh, you know, it's just so much easier than like cooking chicken. And there's just no benefit to cooking the chicken anyway. You know, I can cook chicken if I wanted it. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just a chicken breast hater. But the turkey breast is sweet. So I had a big block of that, about 8.5 ounces, so 50 something grams of protein. Uh, Cubed it up, put it into a bowl with some salsa and some fat-free cheese. And then in terms of carbs, I really just went ham on a bag of pretzel chips, original flavor. I had like 100 grams of carbs worth all at once. So as soon as I ate it, I took a huge nap. That's one thing that'll happen is for me, in a bulked state, I mean, I can eat a whole box of Krispy Kreme donuts and a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, whatever. I won't get that sugar crash because I'm almost sort of used to eating that much food and that kind of food during the day. But, you know, when I'm dieting right now, I'll get hit with, like, I guess what you call what am I trying to think? Carb coma. Like, after I eat a bunch of food, I'll get, like, oh, kind of tired for a minute because my blood sugar will spike. And then I'm super, like, if I went the whole day eating just really foods that are low on the glycemic index, which, like, oatmeals and oatmeals and yams and like wheat breads, stuff like that, what you'd refer to as more of like a complex carb. Those are low on the glycemic index, right? Meaning they're not just gonna spike your blood sugar like that. So if I go, you know, a couple of days just eating foods on the low glycemic index or on the lower end, and then I have like, you know, 150 grams of just any kind of carb all at once, and I have a big insulin spike, then I'll kind of have like a blood sugar crash. I don't know how much you guys know about carbs and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm a little more sensitive to getting sleepy from eating a lot of food when I'm cutting down. But I don't really need to do that anyway. You know, the whole point for me dieting is I want to spread my food out throughout the day nice and evenly. So really, I kind of just screwed myself because now I don't have a ton of calories left to play with before I go to bed. So I've been aiming for 2,500, but I've been kind of loose with it for this whole month. Like, I needed to go back through the. Actually, what am I talking about? I can do it right now. So one thing with the stupid simple macro trackers, it can show you the average over the last 30 days. Um, oh, I guess I've been pretty good then. So over the last 30 days, the average macros has been 220 grams of carbs, 80 grams of fat, 226 grams of protein, and average calories 2534. Okay, so I guess I kind of am on track. What am I talking about? I bet I forgot to track some. Because I've been doing more like 27, 2,800 calories. I think I'm gonna try to really lock it in on 2,500 for the next month. And I think the reason I've been kind of lax about it is because I'm getting leaner, right? The cut is resulting in noticeable changes, so I'm not like super strict on myself. I'll go over on the carbs and the fats a little bit, but that is not the way to do it. If you're not noticing any changes on the scale or any visual changes of your body fat, then you got to change some shit up, and you got to do it in a very strict way. Just, I don't want to just do a calorie counting preaching session every car talk, but I swear the number one factor which is going to determine whether or not you gain weight or lose weight, and when you add when you add bodybuilding weight training into that equation, then the only thing that's going to change whether or not you gain muscle or lose fat is if you eat in a calorie surplus or if you eat in a calorie deficit. With about a gram per pound of protein a gram per pound of body weight of protein. It's kind of the long one right there. But as a beginner, hit your gram per pound of protein and just get in the gym. Perfect way to start. So let's get into what we're going to do over the next few, in the very direct foreseeable future. I'm going to go home, eat something, shower off. I'm fucking gross. Do my laundry. I've I've been good about keeping my laundry clean and folded. I was in a bit of a bad habit of just like, oh, you ever throw your laundry onto your bed as a way to motivate yourself to do it? Where it's like, oh, well, I can't go to bed until I do my laundry. And then you just scoot the laundry off to one side. Ugh, that is fucked up. I've been good about that as of late. But home, food, play with my cat. That's it. That is freaking it. I don't have any schoolwork this weekend. Very lucky. Very lucky for me. And then early morning cardio tomorrow. I forgot to bring a scale. So I have my one. I like to just use the same scale when I come back and forth. Just because, some scales are just off. So, keeping your weighing, your weight checking routine consistent is going to give you some legit, actual trackable data. So that means not only should you probably use the same scale every morning, but you should also do it at the same time. I've brought this up before. If you weigh yourself at 3 p.m., your weight can fluctuate so insanely, like by a pretty solid amount of pounds. I can wake up at 234, and even on a cut, by the time it's like 3, I could weigh 240. Let's say I just had a big meal, I just drank a ton of water. Your weight can just change a pretty substantial amount just from the amount of food and water that you've had so far. So weighing yourself in the morning after you go to the bathroom is the most consistent method if you're gonna, be serious about tracking your stuff and whatever. But cardio in the morning, I might throw abs in after cardio, kind of just for fun. Like, in my opinion, once you've built your abs, or not, I don't even consider this an opinion, more of an observation. Once you've built your abs and they're, pretty defined, like that you've actually got them developed, you're not going to lose them if you keep lifting. Like, sure, you could get, fatter and they could get covered up, but your abs get used so often, not only in your workouts, but just in your life, moving around. Plus, I'd say abs are the muscle that people flex the most when they're checking themselves out in the mirror. Like, all that combined is enough to keep them there. Like, you don't, after you've got a solid set of abdominals from ideally, well, I guess not ideally, this is more so my opinion. I think doing cable crunches or like weighted machine crunches is probably going to be your best bet. Just because why would you train them any differently than like all the other muscles on your body where you use resistance? You know? I wouldn't want to do a body weight quad workout. I want to get on a squat or a leg extension or a hack squat, stuff like that. So why would I want to do a body weight workout for my abs? You know, for me, that's just kind of how everything clicks in my freaking brain. But so if you don't have them, your body fat percentage may play a role. I'm not gonna lie. If you're if you're holding on to too many lipids, I'm trying not to say if you're too fat. If you're holding on to too many lipids, then yeah, you're not gonna be able to see your abs. But they do have to be developed like any other muscle. When people say they're built in the kitchen, I think it's more so they're revealed in the kitchen. They have to be built in the gym. So back to the crib. I'll see you next time.